The first time I saw it, I thought it was a trick of the light, a flicker between the pines, something that didn't belong, not a shadow. Shadows have edges. This was a presence, a slow unraveling of the air itself, the kind of thing that makes your breath shallow and your fingers numb. I should have turned back then, but the forest was quiet, too quiet. The kind of quiet that hums in your skull like a tuning fork pressed against bone. And then it moved, not walked, shifting, palm like the trees themselves, leaned in to watch. That was 3 years ago. I still wake up screaming, not from what I saw, from what I remember. The case files call it an urban legend. The missing persons reports call it a pattern. The locals call it I.C. Hollow Walker, a stretch of old service road between the old mill and the state park where people vanish without a trace. No blood, no screams, just gone, like they were never there at all. The police have theories. Overgrown roots that swallow footsteps. Underground caves that collapse behind you. Even the occasional wild animal attack. But the truth is worse. The truth is that something watches from between the trees. Something that doesn't cast a shadow because it was a shadow. Something that doesn't make noise because it wished a silence. And it's been there longer than the town. Longer than the road. Longer than the idea of roads itself. I first heard about it from old man Hargrove. He ran the gas station on the edge of town before he stopped running anything. He told me about the first disappearance. 1978. Talked. A hiker named Daniel Reeves. His car was found abandoned near the service road. Keys still in the ignition. Engine cold. No footprints leading away. No signs of struggle. Just empty. The next morning, they found his backpack 500 meters into the woods. Inside was a single Polaroid. A blurry image of Daniel standing in the trees, smiling. But his eyes were wrong. Black. Hollow. Done. Green. Like someone had scooped them out and left nothing behind. Hargrove said Daniel's family never spoke of him again. Not once. As if he'd never existed. That was the first clue. The second came 6 months later. A college student named Mara Chen. She was documenting local folklore for a project. Her last entry was a voice memo. Timestamped 3:17 a.m. She's whispering. It's not a person. It's not an animal. It's something that wears the shape of both, but is neither. It moves when you're not looking. It's in the gaps between the trees, in the spaces where the light doesn't reach. It doesn't hunt. It doesn't feed. It just collects. And the next thing they found was her camera. The film was blank, every single frame. But when they developed it anyway, there was one image, a silhouette, standing behind her in the woods, not moving, just there. And then the words scrawled on the back in what looked like dried blood. You were never here. The third case was different. A family, the Millers. Father, mother, 2 kids died young. They went for a weekend camping trip. Their tent was found zipped shut from the inside. No signs of forced entry. No footprints outside. Just the family gone. No ransom calls. No bodies. Nothing. Nothing. But here's the thing. Their dog was still there. A German shepherd named Rex. He was whimpering, curled up in the corner of the tent, shaking. When they tried to coax him out, he snapped. Not at them, at the trees. He bared his teeth and let out a sound that wasn't a growl. It was a warning. Einscharte. And then he bolted. They never saw him again, either. That's when the town started talking. Not about the disappearances, about the eye silences. The way the birds stop singing when you get too close to the hollow walk. The way the wind dies completely, like the world is holding its breath. The way your phone loses signal not because of bad reception, but because something doesn't want you calling for help. And the way if you stand at the edge of the road at dusk and stare into the trees long enough, you start to see shapes. Not people, not animals, just wrongness. Twisted things that shouldn't exist, flickering in and out of sight like static on an old TV. I decided to go see for myself. Just once. I parked at the trailhead, grabbed my flashlight, and stepped onto the service road. The air was thick, humid at dawn. Like breathing through wet cloth. The trees loomed on either side, their branches twisting in ways that made my eyes ache. I told myself it was just my imagination, just a play of light and shadow. But then I heard it, a sound, not a footstep, not a voice, something, a wet clicking noise like bones snapping in quick succession. I turned, nothing. Just the road behind me, stretching into the dark. I took a step forward, then another, and that's when I saw it. A figure, not standing, not walking, just either tall, too tall. Its limbs were too long, its body too thin, like it had been stretched out over years. Its head was smooth, featureless, no eyes, no mouth, just a blank expanse of skin where a face should be. And then it moved, not toward me, not away, just adjusted in, like a mannequin being repositioned by unseen hands. And that's when I ran, not because I was scared, because I knew. I knew if I stayed, if I looked at it too long, it wouldn't just take me. It would human in me, and I would never know I was gone. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on my couch, shaking, staring at the wall, and then I saw it. A single Polaroid slipped under my door. I didn't remember it being there. I didn't remember anyone coming. But there it was, a blurry image of me, standing in the woods, smiling. My eyes black, hollow, turning. I formed out to and scrawled on the back in what looked like dried blood, "You were never here." The next morning, I called the police. I told them everything. They didn't believe me. Of course they didn't. How could they? There was no evidence, no proof, just my word, and a single, impossible photograph. They filed a report. They said I'd look into it. They didn't. Because how do you investigate something that leaves no trace? Something that doesn't exist. Something that belies the absence of existence itself. I've tried to forget. I've tried to move on. But the hollow walk is always there, in the back of my mind, in the corners of my vision. In the way the air feels heavier when I drive past the service road. And sometimes, late at night when the house is quiet and the world is still, I hear it. The clicking, the wet, snapping sound of something that shouldn't be alive. And I know it's still out there. Still watching, still waiting, still collecting. Keep on collecting and collecting. And the worst part, I think it's starting to remember my name.